You've said it before, haven't you? I'll start after this busy week. Even before she leaves, I'll get serious once things calm down. I just need to feel more motivated. But let me ask you something raw and real. How many dreams have you buried under later? How many times have you told yourself you were waiting for the right time, only to find it never showed up? Because perfect timing isn't a gift, it's a trap, with comfort in disguise. It whispers, wait until you're ready, knowing full well, readiness never comes. Let me tell you what's real. Every champion started before they were ready. Every transformation began in chaos, not calm. The right time is not a date. The right time is a decision. And until you decide, you stay stuck. 2025 won't reward what you hope for. It will reward what you move on. So stop waiting for motivation. Start building momentum. Stop asking for permission. Start giving yourself the green light. Because your delay is not neutral. Your delay is costing you destiny. There's a truth you already know deep down, but maybe you've never had the words to say it out loud. Perfect timing doesn't exist. And yet we chase it like a myth. We hold back. We hesitate. We wait for the stars to align, for the schedule to clear, for the fear to fade. We tell ourselves, I'll start when I feel more ready, when I have more time, when things finally settle down. But here's the raw reality no one likes to admit. Waiting becomes a habit, and the longer you wait, the better you get at not starting. It becomes a pattern, a quiet surrender masked as preparation. And I get it. You don't want to fail. You don't want to waste energy. You want the conditions to be just right before you make your move. But life doesn't reward perfect plans. It rewards courageous action. Because the people you admire, the ones who seem to have it all together, they didn't start with a perfect blueprint. They started with a decision. They didn't wait until it was easy. They moved while it was messy. You think the giants started at the summit? No, they started on their knees. They started broke. They started scared. They started before they were ready, because they understood one thing. Readiness isn't something you wait for, it's something you build by walking. So let me ask you this. How many seasons of your life have you postponed because you were waiting for the right time? How many dreams have you quietly buried in the waiting room of perfection? Here's what they don't tell you, in school or in comfort zones. The right time will never knock. You have to build it, with courage, with commitment, with messy, imperfect, bold steps. And every time you hesitate, every time you whisper, next month, next Monday, next year, you're quietly handing your future over to fear dressed as logic. What you're really saying is, I don't believe in myself enough to start today. And that belief? That's the root of every delay, every excuse, every dream that died unrealized. So I challenge you, burn the idea that you need the right time. Trade that lie for a higher truth. You don't need the perfect moment. You need a powerful decision. Because while the rest of the world waits for motivation, you become the one who moves with discipline. While others wait for life to get easier, you become the one who gets stronger. And while most sit back waiting for clarity, you create it through action. There is no right time to start, but there is a wrong one, later. Because later turns into never. And the life you are meant to live, it disappears quietly in the shadows of delay. Don't let that be your story. Not this year, not this time. This is the year you stop waiting. This is the year you rise. Let's talk about something that quietly sabotages more dreams than failure ever could. Something most people never even realize is the problem: identity. You see, you don't achieve your goals, you achieve your standards. And those standards are set by how you see yourself. You can set ambitious goals, write them down in journals, create vision boards, even speak them out loud. But if your subconscious identity is still tied to being undisciplined, lazy, inconsistent, then that old identity will silently pull you back like gravity. This is why most people struggle, not because they don't want more, but because they haven't yet become someone who believes they deserve more. You can't build a new life while holding on to an old identity. You can't say, I want to wake up early, and still identify as someone who always hits snooze. You can't say, I want to stop procrastinating, and deep down believe you always quit. That's an invisible war, and you lose it every time. So instead of saying, I want to read more, say, I am a reader. Don't say, I'm trying to be productive. Say, I am someone who gets things done. Don't say, I hope to be consistent. Say, I am consistent. When you shift from wanting to being, your actions begin to align with your new identity, and guess what? Your life starts to follow. At first, yes, it will feel uncomfortable. You'll feel like you're lying to yourself. You'll say, I am focused, while your mind still drifts. You'll say, I am driven, while your habits still look like the old version of you. That's normal. Change always feels awkward in the beginning, but each time you show up in alignment with your future self, even just a little, you're casting a vote for who you're becoming, and over time, those votes build certainty, confidence, and a new reality. Every small win becomes a whisper. This is who I am now. And the more consistent you become, the louder that whisper turns into a roar. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to feel pride, not for what you achieved, but for who you showed up as. Because transformation isn't about doing something once, it's about becoming someone different. Your breakthrough in 2025 won't come from another checklist. It will come when your identity matches your destiny. That's the shift, not just changing your schedule, but changing the way you see yourself when no one's watching. You want to change your life? Then don't just write new goals, write a new version of you. Because when your identity shifts, everything else follows. We live in a world obsessed with the big win, the dramatic success, the flashy transformation. Everyone's chasing the before and after moment, the viral post, the overnight change, the jaw-dropping result. But what we don't see, the in-between, the quiet, the invisible grind. We don't see the days where nothing felt like it was working, where progress was slow, where the only thing someone had was the will to keep going anyway. Transformation doesn't come in a single leap. It comes in layers, in steps so small they almost don't seem worth it, in choices so quiet they feel like they won't matter. But they do. Because those micro wins, they stack. And when stacked consistently over time, they become unstoppable. You got up on time today? That's a win. You chose water instead of soda? Win. You put your phone down and focused for just 10 minutes longer than yesterday? Another win. Those aren't random acts. They're foundational bricks. And brick by brick, you build a life that no longer feels chaotic. You build trust, you build rhythm, you build momentum. And momentum is more powerful than motivation will ever be. See, most people wait to feel successful before they act. But the truth is, you act your way into success. You show up for small victories until those small victories become your new identity. You stop saying, I hope I can change, and you start living like, this is who I am now. Here's something powerful. When you celebrate micro wins, you teach your brain that progress is pleasure. You rewire your reward system. You stop chasing dopamine from distractions and start earning fulfillment from discipline. You no longer need the world to clap for you. You're proud of yourself because you know you showed up quietly, consistently, like a pro. Think of a raindrop. One drop feels like nothing, but enough of them over time, they shape stone. That's what your micro wins do. They don't just move you forward, they shape you, mold you. They whisper to the old version of you, you're no longer in charge. So stop asking, did I do everything? And start asking, did I do something that moved me forward today? Because even one small intentional step is a statement. I'm not waiting anymore, I'm becoming. And when you string enough of those small wins together, you'll look back months from now and not even recognize the person you used to be. Not because they were weak, but because you finally became who you were always meant to be. Let's talk about something that most people spend their lives trying to avoid. Something they run from, numb, distract themselves from, or silence with comfort. Pain. I know, even hearing that word brings up something in your chest, doesn't it? But pain is not what we think it is. Pain isn't your punishment. Pain isn't your weakness. Pain is the signal that you're still alive. It's the echo of your soul reminding you that you still care, that you still want more. Most of us are taught to fear pain, to see it as the enemy. We're told that if it hurts, it must be wrong, that discomfort means you're broken. But let me tell you something I've learned through fire. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the entrance. It is the door between the person you've been and the person you're becoming. And most people will never walk through that door because they fear how much it might hurt to leave their comfort behind. But pain has a message. Pain speaks. When you stop running and actually listen, you'll hear it say, "You've outgrown this. You're being stretched. You're being called to rise." Pain doesn't show up to destroy you. It shows up to deliver you. The problem is, most people don't walk through it. They back away, they blame, they hide. But if you can stop seeing pain as something to escape and start seeing it as something to enter, something to walk through, that's when the change begins. That's when the breakthrough starts to unfold. Because everything you want, growth, power, clarity, purpose, lives on the other side of your willingness to endure discomfort. Let me tell you something else. The moments in your life that hurt the most, the ones that brought you to your knees, that broke you open, that made you question who you were, those were not detours. They were defining moments. They were shaping you in ways you couldn't yet see. They were refining you, forging you, softening what needed to soften, strengthening what needed to harden. The truth is, your purpose will always be born through some kind of pain. So if you're hurting right now, if you're in a place that feels heavy, confusing, or uncertain, know this: you are not behind. You are becoming. You're walking through something that most people won't dare face, and that makes you powerful. Because pain, when you stop fearing it, becomes fuel. Every time you sit with the discomfort instead of running, every time you lean into the fear instead of numbing it, every time you keep going when your mind says quit, you are proving to yourself that you are stronger than what tried to break you. So here's what I want you to take from this. Don't avoid pain. Don't resent it. Reframe it. See it as a messenger, a guide, an initiation into a higher version of you. Because pain is not where your story ends. It's where your true story begins. Let's be honest, this is where most people lose the game. Not because they didn't dream big enough, not because they weren't capable, but because they relied on something fragile, something fleeting, something that disappears the moment life gets inconvenient. Motivation. Motivation feels good. It's the rush, the excitement, the fire at the beginning. But motivation is like a spark. It ignites fast and fades just as quickly. You can't build a future on sparks. You need a furnace. And that furnace, it's called discipline. Discipline is quiet. It's not glamorous. It doesn't always feel good, but it works. Discipline is waking up when you don't want to, showing up when no one's watching, doing the hard thing when it would be easier to do the easy thing. Discipline is your decision to keep going, not because the mood is right, but because the mission is real. Most people wait to feel like it. They wait to feel ready. But champions, builders, people who break generational cycles and rise above their own past, they don't wait. They build consistency through commitment. They move without needing to be moved. That's discipline, and it's what separates those who wish from those who win. Let's be real. Discipline doesn't show up with applause. It shows up when it's raining, when it's hard, when it's lonely, when you're tempted to go back to old habits. But every time you honor discipline, you're telling your future self, I won't abandon you. You're building a reputation with the most important person in your life, yourself. Discipline isn't restriction, it's self-respect. It's knowing that your future matters more than your temporary mood. It's trusting that every choice you make today is a vote for the version of you haven't met yet, but you're fighting like hell to become. And the beauty of discipline? It's not something you're born with. It's a skill, a system, a practice. You train it, you build it. One promise at a time, one hard choice at a time, one early morning, one resisted excuse, one silent rep at a time. And as the days stack, so does your strength. And one day, maybe soon, you'll look in the mirror and realize you don't need to talk yourself into it anymore. You've become the kind of person who just does the work. It's no longer effort, it's identity. That's the goal. Not perfection, not hype, just quiet, relentless, internal alignment with the future you believe in. Because when discipline becomes your default, you stop negotiating with your old self. You stop breaking promises. You stop starting over every few weeks. You lock in and you rise. So don't just chase motivation. Become disciplined. Make it your rhythm. Make it your ritual. Make it your lifestyle. Because when you do, nothing can stop you. Not tired days, not fear, not setbacks, nothing. Because you've already decided, this isn't just a new year. This is your breakthrough year, and you're not waiting on it. You're building it, one disciplined step at a time. And now, here we are. We made it to the end. Not just the end of this message, but maybe the end of an old season of your life. Because if any part of this reached you, if something stirred inside you, if your heart beat a little louder, if your gut whispered, "This is what I needed to hear," then don't just let this be another video you watched and forgot. Let this be the line in the sand, the moment where you said, "No more waiting. No more waiting for the right time. No more waiting to feel ready. No more waiting for someone else to believe in you." Because now, you believe in you. Now you know the truth. Your life won't change because of a quote, a plan, or a sudden burst of motivation. It will change because of who you decide to become starting now. So here's your challenge. Right now, not later, drop a comment and write. No more waiting. Declare it. Claim it. Say it for yourself. And if this message reached your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with one person who's stuck in their own cycle. Text it to them. Post it in your stories. Because you never know, this might be the exact thing they needed to hear to rise to. And if you're serious about making 2025 your breakthrough year, then don't just passively listen. Subscribe to this channel. Not just to support the message, but to stay connected to the fire that you just lit in sight. This is a space for real growth. There's for warriors, for builders, for becomers. Because in this community, we don't wait. We work, we rise, we move. And I promise you this, you are not behind. You are not broken. You are just one decision away from a completely different life. So stop waiting, start building, and let 2025 be the year you finally meet the person you were always meant to be.